I'm all about the products that work, and you've definitely put some on my radar that already weren't there, and I'm excited about it.
Yay Networks.
A quick note before we dive into today's podcast. If you like what you hear, I would love for you to subscribe to Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, wherever you download your podcast. It would also be incredible if you take a minute to rate and review this podcast. Those things do matter and they really help us. In today's episode, we are taking a little bit of a sidestep from the norm, a little bit of a shift. We are talking favorite products I love, a little bit different, not nutritional products this time, but products that we put on our body. And so to help talk through this and talk and chat through these products, I am joined by my friend, my colleague, Melanie Warner Spencer. Melanie is lifestyle editor for multiple magazines throughout New Orleans. Also is our executive editor for Craft, the Eat Fit Guide to Zero Proof Cocktails. So we've worked closely together in a lot of ways. You've heard her on this podcast multiple times. This might be your fifth time joining me. So thank you.
Thank you for having me again, Molly.
Yeah. So this is something that you cover some for Lifestyle Blog.
We cover it on several of our blogs on myneworleans.com. And we also include a lot of this type of information in our magazines as well.
And we're saying, a lot of times we're talking about collagen or apple cider vinegar. We're talking about what are supplements or new nutritional products or different plant-based sweeteners or, certain brands of products, all related to food or drink or what we're eating or not eating. But this is specifically things that we're putting on our body and things that, so I was talking with Melanie a few weeks ago and I was like, I get questions a lot about what do you use for fill in the blank? And I was like, what do you think about would you want to talk through that with me? She's like, I am in.
And absolutely.
Because you get the questions too.
I do too. And I think that anytime you're in a sort of front facing career, and I think for both of us, we're on TV, we do podcasts, we go out and do public appearances, or we MC an event, whatever the case might be. And people see our Instagram feeds and they start to have questions, things like, how are your teeth so white? Or
you go through this whole explanation of something that's like very deep, in depth, lots of research. And then the question is,
how are your teeth so white? It never fails. Right. And some people are squirrely about it and they'll DM you or they'll ask you privately. But some people will pop it right in the comments and sometimes it will be relevant and sometimes not. But it generally starts a firestorm of other people saying following or same or whatever. So it's something that I end up getting asked a lot. And I also wonder what other people are using. And that's why I was so enthusiastic about it.
We do. And as we're sitting here, Melanie and I have
so many products.
I've like squirted them on her, have her feel these. I guess to answer that first question about teeth being white, personally, I use Crest white strips.
And I do too. And I think it's even funnier that that's the one both of us gravitate toward. And we've never talked about that. It just happened to be one of the things you brought up as people ask you. And I said, they asked me about it too. And they're always so, I guess, pleasantly surprised.
It's so approachable.
That it's so easy to get. It's at every drugstore and it's not crazy expensive.
Right. And so people say, it's not. And even my dentist will say, I can't believe, because of course he has all these expensive treatments to do. And I remember when I was younger, way younger, maybe 20 years ago, I was probably in my lower 20s. I had tried a teeth bleaching system that my former dentist, it was probably when I was in Baton Rouge even, had recommended. And so, at the time, I don't even think that we had Crest white strips and such available. So I was using like the dentist quality, that grade of a teeth whitening, and it made my teeth so sensitive.
That's what I was thinking is my teeth are pretty sensitive already. And they have a lot of different versions of the Crest white strips and some of the other off brands as well that are specifically for sensitive teeth. But I think they've also reformulated it even over the past 10 years to where all of it is pretty much usable for sensitive teeth people.
Agreed. And so it's one of those things that if you do like a one and done, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. It's something that actually, like almost everything that Melanie and I are going to be talking about today, it is consistency is key, sticking with it is key. And that's something that I've said before on this podcast. I'm very, once I land on something that I see a benefit or feel that benefit, I'm very consistent with it nutritionally and otherwise. And so kind of a rules follower of what the dermatologist recommends or whatever. And the white strips are a perfect example of that. So I'll use them maybe anywhere between like maybe 4 and 6 times a week. I'll usually put them in maybe while I'm doing makeup, hair makeup, or, to where I'm going to have them in for about 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, depending, you sound a little lispy if you're talking with them in
True.
there, and so you either plan for that and take them out before you're going to have that conversation, or you just explain it to whoever you're talking to. It depends on that level of comfort.
Right. I've definitely had conversations with people with them in, and I always give them a little disclaimer as to why I might sound a little weird,
a little slurry
right
at that point. Yeah. So, number one of products that we love, and this is Melanie and I both, is the Crest White Strips.
Absolutely. And I don't use them to that frequency. I tend to be more of a look and see. And if I feel like my teeth aren't as white as I want them to be, I'll use them. Or if I have television or some other event that I want to look extra special for. And then sometimes I'll just go through bouts where I'm a little more consistent with it. But I think it's really whatever the person prefers, because not everyone wants the same level of whiteness, and you really can choose whatever it is you want with it.
Also kind of based on what you're drinking or consuming. And so for me, like I am a coffee drinker, right? And so I'll feel like, and I like deep, strong coffee, the stovetop on the mocha on the stovetop, kind of that really concentrated coffee. And so I do feel like very quickly that can kind of show up. We also do a fresh pressed vegetable juice most afternoons. It's a beet juice blend. So that's another.
Oh, that'll do it.
That gets you.
And if you're a red wine drinker,
yes,
that always is something that I think people are trying to work against.
Yes, right. So all of those things, it's sort of like Melanie said, depending on the level of whiteness or brightness you're looking for, also what you're typically drinking or consuming as far as like what's going to stain your teeth. They come, if you're not familiar, they're like a little plastic strip, and they have the top and bottom. They're like little clear stickers that are basically aligned with your teeth. You put it on, there's one for your top, one for your bottom. You leave them on 30 minutes, done.
And they really stick. So you don't have to worry about them coming off. I think some of the earlier generation white strips were a little loose sometimes once they got
it was more
contact.
Like saran wrap on your teeth.
Right. And they were easy to fall off. These definitely are not. You have to really work to get them off.
So the next product is one that it's a sunscreen that I use. I'm holding it up for Melanie to see.
And sunscreen is so essential, everyone. Please. I'm a fair person, and I have to wear it like my life depends on it. So I'm always about some sunscreen.
And what I don't love about the sunscreens that are, so this is a sunscreen recommended by my dermatologist, Isden
Photo. And it has a lot of words I cannot pronounce. So maybe you should do that.
And
Molly. We're putting each other on the spot.
Arifotona. Yes. So if you just remember though, or jot down, or Isden, Isdin, and it is one that is, again, dermatology recommended. And this is specifically what she recommends. It's a mineral sunscreen. It doesn't have, I use the tinted. There's the white and but the white does leave a little bit of a white kind of sheen on you. And that's what I find about most sunscreens.
That's the zinc, I think, in it.
Mm-hmm. And so the tinted for me is, it is dual purpose. So I don't use the foundation anymore. Like I don't
because
purchase.
That does the trick.
Yeah.
I actually also started using a tinted moisturizer instead of that has sunscreen in it instead of 3 different products.
Right.
And I've stopped using, I didn't really use foundation, but I used a foundation powder.
Yeah.
And I don't have to use that anymore either. And it's really streamlined my getting ready in the
Totally.
morning.
And so if it's just a regular, I'm going into work and I'm just going to have sunscreen on, it also kind of gives a little bit more polished look because it does sort of pull that double duty as a foundation, even though I would not normally put a foundation on just to go into my office, which is at the fitness center.
Right.
But also it's enough of a like a quality product as a foundation that it's what I use when I do TV and you have those stronger lights. It still holds up to that. So hands down, I won't say it as well as my dermatologist explains it, but it's not only preventative against sun protection, it also has compounds inside of it that help with DNA repair from what's already damaged skin from the sun.
And for everyone out there who's interested, it is also not only a higher SPF at 50 SPF, but it also is water resistant for 40 minutes. This is a great product. I might have to experiment with this instead of what I've been using, which is great. And I'm very happy with it. But this actually has the water resistance that mine doesn't.
And so during anything outside where I'm sweating or moving around, this to me is perfect. We'll put a little squirt and something for you to take home.
Oh,
and
okay.
Try.
Thank you.
So
I won't say no.
That's sort of like hands down double duty of sunscreen. And it makes it easy that what I kind of was running into what you said, 3 different products. I had the moisturizer that I liked, but it didn't have a sunscreen in it.
Right.
And then I had the sunscreen, but it didn't moisturize like I like. And then I had the foundation. And so for when I needed that. So yeah, it's kind of a 3-in-1 there.
And what's nice too, if you can find something like this or this actual product that it's working triple duty or even more because it has those reparative qualities to it. But when I use mine, I was with a friend in Mobile a few months ago, and this was after I had started using the tinted moisturizer that I use. And she and I were going out on a walk, and she comes in and she ready to go. And I said, okay, just let me grab my jacket or whatever. And she goes, oh, you got all pretty. And I was like, no, I just put on tinted moisturizer, I swear. So it really makes a big difference. Right. And I use mine exclusively now, even for TV. And I used to use different makeup for TV.
Right.
So it's great when you can find one like that that really kind of does everything.
Yes. The other that I struggle with is dry skin. You know, I envy someone who
has oily skin
and hair, you know, because mine is dry on both of those. So the next 2 products are all about giving that emollient feel.
Okay. And this is your skincare for your face regime.
Yeah.
This is what you're using for your daily moisturization and perhaps some pro looking great as you get older stuff. I don't want to say anti-aging. I've decided I don't like that word. I'm not against aging, but I like to use things that make me look as fabulous as I can.
I love that you didn't say anti-aging. You said pro-looking
good as you age. It's not concise. We'll come up with something better.
The brand that I use for this, you and I both, we agree that we would call it Dr. Hauschka, but I'll spell it. It's Hauschka. And there's a website called Lovely Skin. It's actually a dermatologist-owned website or run website. And they have a lot of different really nice products there. But I've also seen products like this locally at places like Earth Savers as well. And there's 2 products that I use, and I had, kind of mixed them and put them onto Melanie's hand. One is called a hydrating cream mask by Dr. Hauschka, and the other is a regenerating oil serum. They're both just like, I put them on at night before bed, but also in the morning, I'll put that on. And especially if I'm going to be around the house for a little bit before I'm actually then going to, get ready to go out. Like that's kind of like, I'll splash my face with like cold water in the morning. And the first thing I'll put on is that. And it sort of like starts with that high moisture. And then as I'm, do things around the house, then when I go to get ready for the day to step out, I'm going to put on that Isden.
Right. And I think that's key sometimes is to allow the product time to soak in. Right. I know that when I'm in a hurry, I tend to layer it all on and then I put on a makeup product and it doesn't really do what I
It's
want
not
it
the
to
same,
because
yeah.
it hasn't had time to soak in
Yeah.
and I have to do a little repair.
Yeah.
So it's nice if you can let it have its time to sink in a bit.
Yeah. So wake up, cold water, first thing, the 2 Dr. Hauschka products, the regenerating oil serum, that hydrating cream mask. It says it's a mask, but I just put it on as if it's just a really thick moisturizer. I don't wear it as a mask that I'm then taking off. I just let it be part of that really thick emollient. And like you said, I'm doing that first thing when I wake up, and I kind of go start my day, get ready for the day. And it may be, 40 minutes or later that I'm actually going to then be putting on that Isden.
And the products that she put on my hand feel and smell so nice. And I think anytime you can find a product that you also like the way it feels and the fragrance, if you're a fragrance person, some people obviously have sensitivities that maybe prevent them from going with scented things. But if you like the way it feels and or smells, you're more likely to be consistent with
You're
it.
right. Because you kind of crave
you
it.
look forward to it.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up fragrance. I would say almost all of these, while they may not be fragrance free, they do have like a scent,
a natural smell.
Yeah.
Like the ingredients that they're using. For example, you might have something that has peppermint in it, so it smells a little bit like
Right.
peppermint. To me, those natural essential oils
Right.
and things that aren't added chemical fragrances tend to not be as triggering
Right.
for people. So obviously experiment or ask your dermatologist, but
Yeah, the Hauschka line that we said, there's the oil, especially you're picking up on some of the scents of the actual oils that are in there versus perfumes added.
right.
And that's something that's almost like for me, if it's like a lipstick, which I don't actually have any of the favorite lipsticks, but we may talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the lipsticks to me are so perfumey almost.
There are a lot that I will use once and never again for that reason.
Or any type of skincare,
Mhm.
right? Because you feel like I can't stop smelling whatever I just put on.
Mhm.
The peppermint oil that Melanie mentioned is actually in the chapstick that I love.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably what kind of brought that to mind for you. It's a brand called Adventurous Soap Company,
Mhm.
and it's adventuroussoapco.com. We were in Colorado. It was Beaver Creek a couple of years ago, and they
Mhm.
happened to have like an art market. And so there was all different types of artists, but then there was a woman there. Her name is Dana, and it's called Adventurous Soap Company. So she had these soaps made with essential oils, and then she had this lip balm. And the tube, Melanie's opening it now.
It's so nice, you guys. It has so many wonderful ingredients that are, and we're going to say the word emollient over and over again, but it has coconut oil, shea butter, castor oil, sweet almond oil, so many wonderful things that are just going to glide onto your skin and feel so good. And I'm all about a really nice, especially lip balm, because I can never get a lip balm that's enough of that moisture.
Yeah.
I really
emolliency.
like a lot of emollients in my moisturizer.
So I met her. She was just a lovely person. I buy like a lip balm,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I contact her. Can I get like 5 more and then 5 more? So finally now you see I have a box that I buy like 3 dozen
Buying it
at
in
a
bulk.
time. It may be 2 dozen.
And the
3 dozen.
packaging is nice too. I
Yeah.
don't know who else out there is a sucker for branding and packaging, but it is this really nice natural packaging with good design, and it looks cool.
It's not plastic. It's like it's a cardboard little tube.
It looks like I don't want to misspeak, but it has that recycled look to it in a good way.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah. And this has been my go-to for years.
And she's a woman-owned, Black-owned business,
Yes,
correct? Which I think
yes.
is always great to support.
Yes.
Anybody, that's in those groups that we can support that need a little bit of support.
And a lot of times we talk about supporting local. And so, acknowledging for our listeners here, like in the greater New Orleans area, she's based out of Colorado, but, she's local in her own right up there. And she
Right.
is, her brand that she's created and her attention to quality, I love it. So
It's really nice.
yeah, so that's I just always have that in every space near me. I've got it by my bed. I've got it in my car, at my
I
desk.
stash mine everywhere too.
Everywhere, yes. So hence buying 2 dozen at a time from Dana.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a minute to share about Nutrafol, sponsor for this week's episode. Y'all are hearing me say it in this specific episode, especially when it comes to skin and hair care. I am a huge rules follower, very consistent. I follow the recommendations of my dermatologist. And so when I first learned about Nutrafol, I'd reached out to get her feedback on it. And she said not only does she recommend it to her patients, she also uses it herself. Nutrafol is a #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement clinically shown to improve thicker, fuller, healthier hair from the inside out. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting the 5 root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, and metabolism. It is possible to grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com, entering promo code FUELED to save $15 off your first month's subscription. This is their best offer anywhere. It's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code FUELED.
Okay, next, I am very curious to hear about one of the products that you told me you use, which is for your lashes. Now, tell me why you started using a lash product to begin with, and which one you use and why you use that one specifically.
Have you ever used one?
I have not, but I have always had a bit of a weird relationship with putting stuff on my lashes or close to my eyeballs. And
even mascara?
I'll wear mascara, but not very often.
Yeah.
I'll wear it for an event if I'm feeling saucy. I'll wear it for television because apparently your eyes disappear when you go on TV if you don't. But I have never been able to figure out how to use false eyelashes. And I'm, again, just sort of very intermittent with even mascara use.
So what I thought was interesting about this, and then there are several answers to the question, but the reason I decided first, let's talk about this one. I've had so many people say, wow, your lashes are so long.
They are.
And I don't really put much makeup on. And on the normal day, I like to wear just the only makeup actually I wear if I'm wearing, quote, no makeup would be the Isden sunscreen we talked about that's tinted. And then a little bit of mascara and then like an eyebrow pencil. Just like a little on that. So I had that much makeup on, very, very little. And we had stopped into a restaurant. So we were out of town and the girl who was the server you were mentioning the false eyelashes. So she had the fake eyelashes and they were probably hard to gauge. I would say 1.5 inches. Like they were like really
performance level cabaret.
They were cabaret lashes. And yeah, there wasn't anything of like, let me try to do, like, it wasn't a natural look that she was trying to
She was going for it.
She was going
all the way.
All the way.
Yeah.
And she looks at me and says, oh my gosh, I love your lashes. What do you use? And Melanie, like, I stopped and I like looked at her and I'm like, is she messing with me? Like, is she serious? And I looked at her and I thought she looked genuine. I don't think she's being snarky.
Right.
And I kind of had a pause, I suppose, because she said, I know. She said, I have to wear these, but I look at yours and like they're so natural, but still so long and full. And so I was like, wow, she's for real. So I said, I use this product called Alpha Lash. And then, I pulled it up on my phone so that she could see it. She was like, oh, cool. And I was like, oh, I felt like that right there was like validation for it. I also had noticed.
Well, anytime a perfect stranger stops you in an interaction to ask about something like that, to me, that means that probably other people thought the same thing and just didn't feel comfortable asking.
And like you said, she had these large theater lashes,
right?
Stage lashes, and is asking about that. I also could tell that it was, working because like I would have, certain sunglasses, I would feel them like
banging up against your glasses.
And then I could also, of course, just kind of tell they were fuller, longer, and wow, I could really get away with not wearing any other makeup, only mascara. The reason I even considered it in the first place was I kind of had, that server's experience with me. I had that with a friend of mine, and she's someone I've been friends with for decades. And we got together and I was like, Lori, do you have on like false eyelashes? And she said, no, I've been using an eyelash serum.
Okay.
All right. And so then I started just having a thought of that. So then kind of going like, and I was like, maybe, I wonder.
Right.
So I asked my dermatologist again, because many of these things I'm going to her saying, what's the best sunscreen? What's this?
Which is a very important thing to say when we're talking about products that you put on your body, particularly your face.
Right.
But also just a great thing to do. We should all be consulting our doctors before we start doing a lot of this stuff.
Because I'm a registered dietitian. Melanie is a writer and editor. We're not dermatologists, and we're talking to you right now about things to put on your skin, you know? So we're doing sort of what we're like, but
talk to your doctor.
Right, exactly.
It's always the disclaimer. I will often say on social media when I post about something, I am not a doctor. Don't get your medical advice from a person on the internet. You know, I try to be a little cheeky about it, but in reality, it's great to check with your dermatologist or, your doctor before you start switching up with things like this. And not to be too dramatic about it.
Well, but also one of the things that I wasn't aware of, but became aware of, is a lot of the lash serums have prostaglandins in them.
What is that?
So there's several interesting things that, knowing we were going to talk about this, I pulled some things up. So the Alpha Lash that I use, that again, my dermatologist recommended and is, feels comfortable and sells it out of her office in terms of safety, but it does contain prostaglandins, which can be something that people want to avoid. And it's kind of one of those things of knowing about it, knowing that information, and then do you choose to or not to? And someone may listen to this and say, oh, I can't believe she uses a lash serum with prostaglandins.
Right.
Sorry. I mean,
well, I think we all make decisions that some people might question, and we do what's right for us.
And I think knowing the potential side effects that you would have from a prostaglandin containing lash serum, I don't have these, and I've been using it for maybe 18 months now.
Mm-hmm.
And so things like if you have sensitive eyes, like it sounds like you do, it can leave your eyes feeling dry or itchy. It can darken the skin around the eye, inflame around the eye. It can darken your eye color or have certain, those are kind of the main side effects. So for me, knowing those and trying it and not seeing or having any of those, that I felt comfortable with that. One of the things that, as I was starting to look around and see, well, what are some of the lash serums that don't have prostaglandins? There's about, I pulled up a website that I'll link to on this. It's just sort of it's not, I'm going to put two links. One is the ophthalmology, Academy of Ophthalmology. I'll put an article that they have about one of the first lash serums that came out. And then I'll also put a link to this kind of layperson's article who has pulled together a list of what are some of the serums that don't have prostaglandins. And she's got about 8 of them on there. The one that I mentioned, Alpha Lash, is not one that is on here. What I thought was really interesting, though, is that the lash serum, awareness that these particular ingredients actually lengthen and darken our lashes, started with people who were being studied for glaucoma treatments.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
So we were talking earlier about how fascinating it is when one test leads to a sort of weird happy accident experiment in which you find out that this product or this agent does something that you didn't realize it would do. That's so interesting.
So interesting. So the people who were using glaucoma treatment were, in addition to benefiting the glaucoma, they realized that
fabulous lashes.
Fabulous lashes.
Now, there was another eye product that you also use that I'm interested in because I have allergies and sometimes they really go hard on my eyeballs.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not great with putting things in my eyes, I will sometimes use eye drops to help with that. And I've not heard of this one. So tell us about the eye drops that you use.
So as we were kind of talking about, one thing that has side effects or, kind of talking with your physician about things, eye drops were something that I've always had drier eyes, and I would have kind of that redness. And so I was using an eye drop that would just burn like heck when I would put
Which
it in.
seems bad to me.
That's right. I would put it in, and like you would have like that cringe, like, ooh.
Yeah.
And Brad would be like, this can't
Why are
be
you
good
doing
for
that?
you.
Right.
And of course, there's like the regular version of that eye drop. And then there was like the extra strength. So of course, the regular doesn't work as well anymore because I'd used it for so long, moving to the extra strength. And so we happened to be at the eye doctor. We'd both, scheduled an eye doctor appointment together. And he had gone in first, or maybe my appointment was after. I don't know, because I wasn't in the session with him.
Right.
Maybe I came later, whatever it was. I know that I walked into the optical shop and I'm looking and browsing the frames in the optical shop. And all of a sudden the optometrist comes out and she's like, what type of eye drop are you using? And so all the technicians in there, she's like so alarmed. And Brad comes out behind her. He's like, I told her what you've been doing.
He's a snitch.
And I'm like, I can feel my cheeks heating up, And she said, look, and she gave me a coupon for this, and it's called Sustain, Systane, and it's the Sustain Ultra. She gave me a coupon. It might have even been like for a free one. And she said, use this. It is completely safe. Like the other can damage, she went through the laundry list of things that the other can damage your eyes. It's not like I was buying it like in this like underground market. It was, it was a CVS, Walgreens, whatever type of a drugstore thing. So she hands me this coupon, and in my head, I'm thinking, there's no way this is going to work because only the stuff that just burns the crap out of my eyes.
You had started to believe that is what tells you it's working.
But the reality is, it's sort of like how people they can get addicted to something like an Afrin, like a nasal spray, something where it's actually over constricting the vessels.
Right.
And then there's a rebound effect.
And so you're in a vicious cycle.
You're basically training your body you're creating a dependence on this product, which was absolutely what I had done with the eye drop. And so I thought, I'm going to get it because I've got this coupon for a free one. Like I'm going to humor her. I'm going to, Brad's following me into the pharmacy to make sure I get it. I get it. And it was the word emollient. It was so emollient. I put these drops in my eyes. It was immediate relief.
Soothing.
So soothing. And it didn't burn. It felt really good. It was almost like these oils that we're putting into our skin. It was like that for your eyes. It was so great. And so that
sounds wonderful, especially as we're recording this. It's the pollination of the city with allergens abounding. It's spring. So everything is bursting and it's making everyone have itchy eyes.
And so the other things we're talking about are maybe a little bit more beauty products. That's something that's a little bit more functional. But I think that on the heels of talking about a lash serum that has, a little bit of that controversy, that sort of was where I was with eye drops. And I was able to find a product that was even more effective and safe and recommended by the optometrist.
Excellent.
And all of those things worked well.
That is worth hearing about. And I've never seen it. It's a teeny tiny bottle. And, obviously you'll get a lot of use because you use probably 1-2 drops.
And I don't need to use it nearly as much as I did because I'm not creating that cycle. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a little green and pink and white label. And once it sounds to me like you use it, you won't want to go back.
Yeah. And I get it, again, regular drugstore, but also Costco typically has it.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Nice.
Okay. Moving on to the body products. And I'm always trying to find that hallelujah perfect moisturizer because especially in New Orleans, I think because it's so humid here, we don't really think about moisture maybe as much as we could or should until winter or fall, the drier seasons come. And really, we should be using it year round because we still need to add moisture to our skin most of the time, just maybe not as much during the hotter months. But you have a pretty interesting array here. So let's talk about each of these.
So CeraVe, and the brand, it's CeraVe, CeraVe. This is another dermatologist.
I was going to say
product.
That's one of those that the derms are usually touting.
And actually, I'm looking at the label. It says developed with dermatologists. And again, sometimes I find that the products that our physicians may recommend or what's good for us is like,
it's not the most glamorous.
Yeah.
The packaging isn't sexy, but it gets the job done.
But sometimes on the moisturizers, I felt like they're just a little thinner. They weren't really, but there's a moisturizing lotion and a cream. I go with the cream. It's a little bit thicker.
And it's in a little tub, but it also has a pump. And what I love about this is if you, like me, get infuriated when you get to the bottom of a tube and you can't get the rest of it out, or a pump bottle that you can't actually open and scoop out the last bits of it, this combats both of those problems because it's a tube with it's a tub with a lid and a pump, and you can open it and get it out.
And as it stands, it's almost out. So I have been opening and scooping. But on even the products that you mentioned that have a pump that you can't get into it to get the last bit, I'll wrestle it. I'll find a way. I'll break almost the top.
I will cut the tube especially in half, and then basically cut it back down and then reapply the top of the tube. It's a little hack I found online, and it enables you to get to the bottom of the tube because it just drives me crazy.
It's terrible when there's good product left, and it's usually not cheap in these little tubes. And
I think that's the part for me. I just don't want to waste it because I paid good money for it.
100%. So the CeraVe is what I use as like just kind of a full body moisturizing cream, and it soaks in well. There's no residue. It's not sticky. It's not. It doesn't leave a white residue, and it doesn't really leave a sheen. It's just a solid moisturizer. And I had come back from somewhere. I cannot remember where we were, but we were somewhere that was really dry. And then also the weather here had been really dry, and my skin was so flaky, and I couldn't, it wasn't like nothing was working. And so my dermatologist recommended that, and I was like, done.
It got the job done.
The product next to it, I don't know how we say this. It's OSEA. I would say like O'Shea, OC, but it's OSEA.
And it is so nice, and it smells so good.
It's a body oil, but what's interesting about it is I put just a drop or two, and
you barely dropped any on my hand just now, and it's going so far.
And I'll put it kind of up on my arms, or especially if you want to have like a little bit of a sheen or a glow, but not be oily.
Right.
And so I'll put just a few drops of that, like for my entire arm, like 2
drops.
And
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Molly has fabulous arms. You probably do know it because she often accentuates it with a great tank or a style of shirt that shows it off, and with great reason. They're nice toned arms, and I have noticed your sheen. Now, I use coconut oil or vitamin E oil, which it's a very effective way to do it, but that just feels and smells so nice.
It also doesn't get really, it's more
greasy.
Of a dry oil. Yeah. A friend of mine had turned me on to it, and I was like, wow. And because you're using, it's pretty expensive. I want to say it's like $40 for what might be like a 6-ounce bottle or so.
But you only need a couple drops, so it
lasts a really long time. And so that's I'll use that kind of gives a little bit of that glow, but that CeraVe is like that purposeful, like just functional moisturizer. Then you mentioned a shea butter or like a coconut butter. The shea butter is, if you haven't, for anybody who has just really dry skin. So I use this on my hands and feet because I feel like they're like
my hands are endlessly dry, and they always have been. I can't even blame it on age. It's just something I've dealt with as many years as I can remember. And my grandmother used to use that good old Avon soft scent.
Is it Skin So Soft?
Or Skin So Soft, correct. And I never liked the way that smelled.
Yeah.
And so I guess I've just been in search my whole life for the perfect hand cream that does what I want it to do, but doesn't have that weird smell that I didn't like. Maybe it's not weird, but to me.
And so the shea butter, to me, I use on my hands and especially on my feet. I do so much that's active, and I feel like my feet so easily can get just calloused and rough and like leathery and thick skin.
And if you wear sandals, that dries your feet out. And I know pretty much everyone we live wears sandals at least some of the time. And this is Plant Therapy Essential Oils Organic Shea Butter. And it even has a little spoon in the tub. And again, it's a little
spreading spoon.
A little spreading spoon.
I actually use that little spoon because it's about a 16-ounce tub that it comes in. And I use the little spatula that it comes with to put it in smaller containers that I'll keep kind of like
to travel.
I keep them in my purse. So I put a smaller container by my bed.
And a little goes a long way.
Yes.
So I imagine this 16-ounce tub probably lasts you for a long time.
A very, maybe not as long as you would think. I go through it a lot, actually. So on the shea butter, there's a brand called L'Occitane. Some people like it's L'Occitane. It looks like acetane or L'Occitane, but it's pronounced L'Occitane. But it's used to be in the mall and it's in some malls, but it's
right. They are a
French brand.
Yes. I was going to say they either are a French brand or that's their ethos.
So they have 100% shea butter product, and it is in a little tin that might be ballpark 4 or 5 ounces. And I think the first time I got it, maybe it was $28, and now it's gone up. It's like it might be $35 or $40 now, and
feel like you were priced out.
No, you can't do it.
Right.
So literally, I get it once a year. It's in my stocking on Christmas morning.
It's your indulgence product.
And then other than that, I had found like a different brand at the grocery store and others. But the other brands that I had found were very erratic. Sometimes they would be hard as a rock. Sometimes they were very waxy. Even within the same brand, when I would buy at different times, the quality varied a lot.
But this is consistent.
Yes. So this brand Plant Therapy, I was like, I've got to find one that is a better quality. And so it's raw, unrefined. It has just the slightest scent of the shea butter itself, but it's super soft and silky texture. And like,
it really is.
I don't see a reason that I would ever, in fact, I don't think I need the L'Occitane in my stocking anymore.
Well, you don't have to get crazy. I know I actually used to ask for their lavender hand cream because again, astronomically expensive, and would force Mark to go there and get some for me for Christmas or my birthday, which are really close to each other. Now, one thing that I like to do with my coconut oil that I use pretty frequently is I'll put a drop of essential oil in it.
Yes.
And that way, if you like to have a fragrance, so with something like this organic shea butter, and it just has that shea butter scent, then if you want to add something to it, you can just warm it up in your hand and use that as your carrier oil for your essential oil.
So like a lavender
or whatever. I mean, depends on your mood or how you want to feel that day, or maybe you would like some eucalyptus because your sinuses are kind of clogged, whatever. But yeah, you can add it.
Your idea too of using it like in the moment, choosing which essential oil you're going to use and use your hands. Because another that I have done, not with this brand, but with some of the others that were harder, when I was really I was like, I would even heat them up to try to get them to soften and add an essential oil at that time. So, but yes, so Plant Therapy is the brand of the shea butter. It's the organic shea butter. This is one, others I've tried to say, where you could find it in stores. I've only found this one online. I want to say for that 16 ounces, it was like $14.
Oh,
like a very
I really thought
price.
You were going to say that was a $40 tub.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Right.
That's a great deal because this is a big tub of shea butter, you guys.
It's a pound.
It's a lot. And then moving on, because I think everyone's always looking for ways to make their hair more shiny and just basically make their hair do whatever it is they want their hair to do. And of course, our hair never does what we want it to do. So let's talk about your 2 hair products that you love.
I use a lot. I use other hair products besides this, but the 2 that the one that I usually use for styling is Moroccan oil, and it's their Glimmer Shine Spray. And it's sort of like, it has like a very not oily finish to it, but it adds a shine. And so when I'm styling it, if I'm ever styling it for like TV or something that like you need to have because normally I just don't fix my hair, it just is, it's going to be what it is.
Okay.
But when I am styling it, I'll use this, I spray it on there, and then I'll kind of like wrap the hair around like the little hot iron. And this gives a little bit of a protectant with that heat, but then also gives that shine without leaving it
oiliness
and not weighting it down.
And this has argan oil. So if you're wondering what the oil is in the Moroccan oil, And argan oil really kind of hit the scene a few years ago and exploded in popularity, at least in the United States. And I think there are varying degrees of argan oil in terms of what works well and how much argan is actually in it. Wow, she just sprayed some on my hands and it is that kind of dry oil. It's really nice.
It's like a slick that it leaves on there. And so it's not weighting your hair down. Because if you're trying to like style your hair to like maybe have a curl or whatever, you don't want an oily product that's going to weight it down. But this is it doesn't. And it's almost like it's slick feeling on your hands.
And it's a nice, fresh fragrance to it, but really subtle. It just smells like clean.
And so I think that covers it, y'all. Melanie, is there anything else that like you get asked or types of products that we should talk about that we haven't?
One of the things that has become my staple go-to that I use at least a couple of times a week and then a little more often if I'm doing television, I use a NuFace device.
Oh yeah, you're telling me this.
And I absolutely love this thing. And it wasn't cheap. And I don't normally spend a lot on devices or gadgets because a lot of times I feel like they don't work. But I actually had multiple spa treatments, facials rather, at the spa where the esthetician used a NuFace device. And
is it like NuFace?
And it's capital N, lowercase u, very stylized, but NuFace. And it's a collagen building device, essentially. And it has microcurrent technology that plumps up your skin. It helps me, anyway, with making my skin just look really fresh and moisturized and juicy and plump. And I can't see those little fine lines as much. I have this little wrinkle on the left side of my face under my eye that I don't know, is probably from sleeping on that side a lot, but it's less apparent, if not completely diminished, when I'm really good about using the NuFace. And then also I have one of my eyebrows is lower than the other. And when I use the NuFace, it really does kind of lift that eyebrow. And I know I sound like an insane person, but I swear to you, it lifts and tightens that. I only use it on that one side of my forehead because that's really the only place I want to lift. And is it
like a device that you sort of hold? Is it like putting a frequency out?
Yeah. Or? So it has a little microcurrent and has these little orbs, if you will, that are metal or some kind of, they look like stainless steel. And you hold it in different points on your face or you glide it and you use either aloe vera gel or the NuFace gel that they actually sell, which is what I typically use, but you can use aloe vera. And you need that as a conductor because you will sort of feel a shock if you don't use a conductor oil, but also you don't want to use just any kind of oil because it can mess with the device. I think I paid about $150 for mine, and sometimes they're on sale online. I love it, and it really has, I think, upped my beauty game a little bit. And if nothing else, I feel it just kind of gives me a little bit of shape on the day of an event, and I do like it for the one eyebrow that won't behave.
How long does it take to use it? Like how long?
Like 5 minutes. Okay, you can do longer treatments, and sometimes if I go a little longer than I mean to between uses, then I'll do a longer 20-minute session, which you can do. But they have two different ways that you can do it. One is with holds, or that's what they call them, and one's with gliding.
Yeah, so like you're pausing it or moving
two different treatments. And they have an app that you can actually go along with the app and it'll do the treatment with you. It has someone physically on this video doing it, so you can see exactly
make sure you're doing it right,
how to do it.
So here's what I think about that. Like I love, we did an episode a few weeks ago on the book Atomic Habits. And I love the concept of habit stacking on things that are hard to try to find time to fit in. And so for me, I use the Theragun, which is kind of this like therapeutic massage device for like my IT band and hip issues. But it's also like, it's the last thing at night I feel like doing. You're kind of tired. So I like to read at night. So while I'm reading, I have my book in one hand, the Theragun in the other on that IT band. And so thinking like, if it's 5 minutes
Yeah, I do it while I'm reading or watching TV because once you get to
or
the
you could
point where
do like a meditation app.
Yeah.
Or anything.
And it does feel meditative, even
Yeah.
when you're first starting it, especially if you're using the app and you're watching this other person doing
It's very
it.
rhythmic.
There's a rhythmic, meditative quality to it. And a lot of people online will say that it feels like this meditative moment to themselves. And once you get to know the holds and or the glide patterns, it really isn't something you need to pay that much attention to. I can't really talk on the phone or do a lot of activities that involve using my brain very much, because then I do kind of forget how long did I just hold it. It beeps, so it tells you the length, but I'll sort of forget, like, have I done this 3 times? And so you want to do something that maybe doesn't require that much of your attention, but at the same time, you can do more than one thing at once with it.
And so if you are thinking, okay, especially if you're going to use it at night and that's kind of your downtime. And, we talked before about like with, if you're trying to like working on sleep and better sleep habits at night, there's sort of these different transitions that people do that kind of cue our brains that we're heading to sleep. So if that was something that you're doing at that window at night, then it could be that you're doing it with a meditation app. And, there are some that are going to be just 5 minutes or 20 minutes. Or if you are doing it earlier in the day or something, you're going to like, if you're watching TV anyway and you're going to do this. So I think a lot of people listening, they're so busy and they're so pressed for time.
They think I don't have time for that.
Oh my God. One of my clients was a dermatologist and she said she didn't have time to do the skincare regimen that she was recommending to me, not the dermatologist I go to now. This is a past dermatologist. And she has, she worked and she had children, but she said, I don't have the time. And I thought, wow.
Just slather some lotion on your face. Wow. And I'm not diminishing that. It's just people really have so much on their plates.
We have so much on their plates. So all these things that we talked about of sunscreen or moisturizer or a lash serum, literally a lash serum is boom, boom.
Yeah,
that's how long it takes to, it's like one wipe. Yeah. And then the others are a drop in the eye, like putting the lotion on your body is very, 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 very little time that we talked about for all these things. So if you're listening and you go, oh my God, 5 minutes or 20 minutes, pair it with something else,
And again, once you add something into your regimen, of course, just add one thing.
Right.
Then once that takes hold a few weeks later, add the other thing. I think sometimes we try to do too many things at once.
And financially.
Yeah.
Budget-wise.
It can get expensive.
So the things that we talked about, if you're not using a good sunscreen that you love, then I would highly recommend starting there for a whole bunch of reasons. But
always.
Isden Tinted Moisturizer is the one that we love. And then the Dr. Hauschka, for the face, for those of you who are looking for more moisture just in your face and your skin, the Dr. Hauschka Hydrating Cream Mask and also the Regenerating Oil Serum. Both of these, a little goes a long way. The lip balm, I don't want to quote her price because like I said, I buy a lot of them at a time, but they're about $5 to $7. Of course, she's shipping from Colorado. So if you did want to try this, maybe get a friend to go in with you and up your order so that you can kind of divvy up the shipping cost. But again, none of these are taking any time. The lash serum, the eye drops we talked about, the CeraVe moisturizing cream, that shea butter is if you really are going to that's about as intense as it gets in terms of like moisturizing. So all of these are things that, like Melanie said, just kind of listening and hopefully one of these might have resonated with you of something just that you could benefit from trying.
Oh, and I do have one other secret weapon product that I absolutely will have in my hands when I die. And you will pry it from my cold, dead hands. And that is a retinol product. And I use ROC, R-O-C. Okay. It's a drugstore brand.
All right.
But I did a lot of research when I finally landed on this one. Research in terms of actually seeing what products were out there, how much retinol they had in them, what was safe to use, what it was supposed to do, and then of course trying a few different products. And this is the one I landed on because it has one of, if not the highest concentrations of retinol that you can get not in a prescription. Right. And that's what I liked about it. I started out just using maybe a pea-sized amount twice a week. And now, I mean, I've been using it for many years and I use it daily or every evening rather, unless I'm going to be in the sun a lot the next day, like at the beach. But, you know, really test it on your arm or something, because some people are super sensitive to retinol. Talk to your dermatologist before you use a retinol product, but that's one of my go-tos. And you can get it online. You can get it at the drugstore. It's really easy to find, very approachable.
I'm glad you said that, because those Dr. Hauschka products I talked about, the hydrating cream mask and the regenerating oil serum, I also, in my hand, I put a little of one, a little of the other, and then the third is the retinol cream.
And that's probably a little more, I don't know, it might actually be a little more retinol in it than the rock stuff.
It's a prescription.
Okay, so
yeah, and I believe it's 0.1%.
Okay.
Because I believe there's one that's 0.05 and then a 0.1. I think that's the percentage.
I think what I'm using, the rock, is 0.05, but it might be slightly lower. But whatever it is, it's effective enough for me.
Yeah.
At this stage, I may end up graduating at some point to a prescription retinol, but for now, I'm really content with it, and it has enough in it to where I see a big difference.
When I first started using the prescription one, I remember it was wildly expensive, at least as far as what my coverage was.
It used to be very expensive,
like $70 or $100 a tube, and now it's in the 30s.
Nice.
Yeah. So I would say the prescription, that would be something to talk with your dermatologist about, but I'm so glad you brought that up, Melanie, because these are kind of topical moisturizing, but I also pair them all the time with the retinol. And if I were to use only the retinol, I would find my skin being very like red and irritated.
Right.
So having these emollient other products,
I get you. So it's the combining that makes it more palatable for you.
And so I use it daily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for walking through these.
Thank
with me.
you. I'm all about the products that work, and you've definitely put some on my radar that already weren't there, and I'm excited about it.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to link to some of these specific products here, y'all, and some of the ones especially that may be an online only. I definitely want to link to Dana's company, the lip balm we talked about. She's also just a beautiful spirit of a person. So I'll link to some of those, small businesses that we can help support as well.
Great. Thanks, Molly.
Thank you, Melanie. Always so much fun spending time with Melanie. And I hope that you've heard some things that maybe are products or different things that you may try. If you do try them out, I want to hear about it. I want to hear your feedback. If you also have certain go-to products that you can't live without, or you're always getting compliments on, or whatever it might be, again, kind of a different type of a twist than we usually cover. We're talking usually about things that go in our bodies, but it's kind of fun to talk about stuff that we're putting on the outside too. So anyway, I'll put the links of some of the products that we talked about in the show notes of this episode. Reach out if you're trying them. Tell us about it. And I am registered dietitian Molly Kimball. You've been listening to Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, the podcast. If you'd like more Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, please head over to mollykimball.com. You can follow me, Molly Kimball RD, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you haven't yet, please go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Join us next week for another dose of Fueled Wellness and Nutrition. Thanks for listening, and stay focused on living your strongest, healthiest life.